arguments and claims. We're going to review some of these terms very quickly. This may be kind of new to you, or you may think, okay, I already know what this is, but just to get everybody on the same page and to make sure there's nothing confusing coming up, we'll just go over a few quick things. You can see here I've only got a few little items to go through. So when we're talking about an argument, the way that we're talking about it here, because we're talking about persuasive techniques, we're talking about argumentative techniques, what we mean is that no one's literally arguing back and forth here. It's not like you're arguing with your mom or your sister or your brother. The argument, we're using that word argument just to show what your position is or what your point of view is in an argument that you're trying to make. It's just a point you're trying to make. You're not really trying to literally argue with anybody. It's just that your argument is another word that we use to show your point of view. Okay, so think about this. Think about how the word argument, the way that we're using it here, think about what is different with the way we normally use the word argument, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about here. Your argument is just your perspective. It's your point of view. It's your stance on an issue. It's your take on the matter. It's your opinion, okay? When we talk about the word claim, what you claim is what you're saying is true. You're saying it's true. It may or may not really be accurate. It means we don't exactly have any proof yet. We're just saying it. And just because someone says something, it does not mean it's true. Okay, so look at these examples here. The weather forecaster claims we may get snow, right? The second one, she claims she didn't cheat on her test. The third one, my brother claims to know everything about planes. And so unless we have really specific evidence, unless we have specific examples, these statements are claims. It doesn't mean the person is lying. It just means that all we have is their word. All we have is what they're saying. We don't have any evidence. We don't have any proof. We don't have any examples. It's just something that someone says. So that's what we're talking about with a claim. So think about this. If you have a specific point of view on a topic, you believe one way about it, you have your belief, then what you claim is what you're saying is true. But a claim isn't enough. You want to make sure you have really good factual evidence to back up your claim, to show that your claim really is true. So that's how claim and argument kind of fit together there. Okay? Now, there are two techniques. These are the most popular two, so these are the two that we're going to talk about here, that people use to try to be persuasive. So when you are trying to make your point, like up here when we talk about the word argument, when you are trying to prove your argument, you might use emotional appeal and you might use logical appeal. Okay? That's where you're trying to prove your point by using emotional kind of words and phrases, or you might try to prove your point using logical, factual words and phrases. And you know what? There's a good reason to use both. All right? Like, here's an example of an emotional appeal. Act now before it's too late. You don't want to miss out and be left behind, right? Think of commercials, advertisements, things like that. But here's a logical appeal. We have 12 pairs of the new Nike shoes left, and they're on sale now. Okay? So they both mean the same thing. Okay? If you say, act now, come on in, buy it before it's too late, you don't want to miss out. Emotionally, you get what we like to call FOMO, fear of missing out, FOMO. Like, they're going to run out. I'm not going to be able to get the pair of shoes I want, right? It makes you feel a certain way. But logically, if someone says, hey, we only have 12 pairs left, we don't have any more coming in, this is all we have left, that appeals to your sense of logic. It appeals to your brain. It's like the logical appeal is for your brain, the emotional appeal is for your heart. Now, wouldn't it be powerful if we actually combined these two, right? Act now before it's too late. We only have 12 pairs of the new Nike shoes left. They're on sale now. You don't want to miss out and be left behind. Wow, what if we combined both of them, right? So everyone is a little bit different, but think about you when you buy things, when you go to places. Maybe you go to eat certain places or restaurants. Maybe not literally right now, this second, but think about what persuades you? Are you more swayed by the logic and the numbers and the facts, or are you more persuaded by not wanting to be left out, or wanting to make sure you get something first? And neither one is bad, right? It's just people make decisions based on different reasons. So these are important to think about when you're trying to convince someone of your particular point of view. Are you going to convince that person using emotional appeal, or are you going to convince that person based on logical appeal? Okay, last one. Some things are just irrelevant. Maybe you've seen commercials on TV, maybe you've heard speeches before, maybe you've heard friends arguing, right? But if you're trying to persuade someone to see your point of view about something, if you're trying to make a really strong argument for why something should or shouldn't happen, you want to make sure you don't talk about things that are irrelevant. And so you might think, well, why would I talk about something irrelevant anyway? Well, this is where your emotions can sometimes get the best of you. When you get all excited and all ramped up about a particular topic or about a particular belief, sometimes people accidentally start going down these rabbit holes and start talking about things that really aren't relevant to the actual argument. You might even see this on commercials. Like, some advertisers will decide to use irrelevant comments or images that have nothing to do with what they're selling. And that can seem very confusing. So think about it this way. When you hear someone trying to be convincing, listen and see if you can hear them talk about things that are actually irrelevant. Usually people do this when they get really excited about something, when they get really passionate about it, when they really start talking about it and they start bringing up examples that really kind of take away from the point they're trying to make. Okay, so that's our little review on arguments and claims. Okay, so again, claim. This is what someone is saying, but there's actually no proof yet. Okay, until we prove it, it's just a claim. Let me give you an example. Now, these are kind of silly, but being silly is fun, right? Okay, Mrs. Nutterbutt, cried Sippy Sue, is it going to snow tomorrow? Well, replied Mrs. Nutterbutt, the weatherman claims it will snow, but we'll have to see, won't we? So you don't think it will snow? Questioned Sippy Sue. Well, the weatherman says it will, but who knows? He's wrong about the weather sometimes. I guess that's why we have to say he claims it'll snow, since we don't know until tomorrow night if he's right or wrong, said Sippy Sue. Right? So look at how we have claims, says. It's a claim is when you say something. And it doesn't mean you're trying to lie. It doesn't mean you're trying to be deceptive. It just means we don't know yet. So isn't the weather example a good one? How many times have you heard the forecasters predict something and it has turned out not to be correct at all? And they're not doing it to be mean. They're not doing it because they don't know what they're doing. It's just we can't always predict things. And so that's why we say claim. That's what a claim is. A claim is a statement that until it's proven, right? Until it's proven, it's just something that we're thinking. It's what we're saying. It's what we're predicting. Okay, so you have this handout, okay? You have this. And what you can do with it is right here in this paragraph, it says highlight the sentence that best represents the author's claim. So if you're not really able to highlight this, if you have this printed out, then of course you can highlight it. But either way, go ahead and I want you to put a checkbox next to the sentence that you think best represents the author's claim. Okay, so the checkbox goes after the sentence, right? So this one right here. Fast food is a multi-billion-dollar industry designed to provide quick, inexpensive meals anytime, any day. So that checkbox goes with the sentence I just read. So you're not going to check all of these, all right? You're going to read this paragraph and decide which sentence best represents the author's claim. That means which sentence best represents what the author is trying to persuade us to believe, okay? So I'll read through it and you decide what you think. Fast food, I'll start at the beginning again since I talked for a second. Fast food is a multi-billion-dollar industry designed to provide quick, inexpensive meals anytime, any day. Some people criticize fast food, claiming it's unhealthy because of all the fat, sugar, and calories that are damaging to the heart and brain. Consider this though. More and more fast food restaurants are including healthy options for customers. Okay, that's a little typo. Baked chicken, salad, and fruit can be found at most fast food places nowadays. Therefore, fast food is only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. Make good choices by avoiding anything fried and sugary, and you can eat nice and healthy at any fast food establishment. Okay, so remember, the claim is what the author wants us to believe, okay? There may be some evidence for it, there may not be evidence for it, but it's kind of like the author's position. It's the author's point of view, okay? It's what the author believes. The claim may or may not be the same as the topic sentence, okay? So don't just think that the claim is automatically the first sentence. Because think about it. Could you go and look up somewhere, is fast food a multi-billion-dollar industry? Is it designed to provide quick and inexpensive meals anytime, any day? That's actually a fact, right? You could go look that up somewhere and prove it. So that's not a claim. It's a fact, okay? A claim is more like an opinion, okay? So we've got a few sentences left. What is the author's purpose here? Like, what is he really trying to get us to say? What is he trying to get us to believe? What does he want us to know? Okay? Is the whole purpose of this paragraph, does he really want us to know that some people criticize fast food, claiming that it's unhealthy, etc., etc.? And look at this, just because we have the word claim in here does not mean this is the actual claim. Is it true that some people do criticize fast food? Is that true? Yeah, of course it's true. Some people do. Okay, not everybody, but some people do. So that cannot be our claim. How about this one? Consider this though. More and more fast food restaurants are including healthy options for customers. Is that true? Are there more and more fast food restaurants including healthy options? Yeah, it's true. We could look that up. We could go find some. So that can't be it either. Okay, now we're on this one. Baked chicken, salad, and fruit can be found at most fast food places nowadays. Could we go and look up online and find out which fast food restaurants actually have items like this? Yeah, we could. That is true. How about this one? Therefore, fast food is only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. And our last one, make good choices by avoiding anything fried and sugary, and you can eat nice and healthy at any fast food restaurant. Okay, so we're down between two sentences. Which one is best representative of the author's claim? Which one would we probably need more details to learn about? Okay, and really, excuse me for a second. Really, either of these would work for the author's claim, okay? The author is claiming that fast food is only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. If you had to narrow it down between the last two sentences, I'm leaning towards this one. It's only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy, okay? And the reason I was able to determine that is because if you look at the last sentence here, it's more like a suggestion, okay? Make good choices by avoiding anything fried and sugary, okay? So it has some details that actually support the claim. So when I read this, I thought, okay, he's giving us examples for how you can avoid unhealthy food, right? It's only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. And then he gives you specifics, right? Avoid anything fried and sugary. So we're going to put our check here. And I just realized there's a mistake because if you think about it, this last sentence doesn't even have a box by it, okay? But this is our claim. This is the one that best represents the author's claim, the sentence. Therefore, fast food is only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. So a detail that actually supports that claim is really, we could use this last sentence right here, okay? Because he's giving us examples of his opinion that fast food is only unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. And like I said, it becomes a little bit stronger than just a random opinion because he goes ahead and he explains it, okay? Okay, so we talked a little bit about emotional and factual. Remember, emotional persuasion happens when someone uses words, phrases, and reasons that appeal to how you feel. They're trying to persuade you to do something or think something by using words that appeal to your feelings. But factual persuasion happens when someone refers to facts, statistics, experts, scientific information, laws, rules, things like that, okay? Things that are factual, that are true, that you could go and look up somewhere and confirm, all right? Okay, so let's check out this example. Again, another silly example because we need a little bit of silliness, right? That movie called Frosty is playing today at 6:30, cried Lulu excitedly. Frosty is such a cute movie, responded Jojo. Well, so far, 87% of moviegoers have given it 2 thumbs up, continued Lulu as she read a statistic online. Oh, that movie is totally adorable. Don't get left out. You're the only one who hasn't seen it, said Jojo. Well, according to Moviephone.com, it's already made over $16 million at the box office, reported Lulu, so maybe I will see it. Okay, so you see what's happening here. Some of these statements in this dialogue, some of them are factual and some of them are emotional, right? Is it a fact that Frosty the movie is playing at 6:30? Yeah, you could go look it up. Is it a fact that Frosty is, quote, such a cute movie? No, that's an opinion, that's emotional, okay? 87% of moviegoers have given it 2 thumbs up. Is that a fact? Yeah, she read it online. Must be true if it's online, right? That's a topic for another day. And then that movie is totally adorable. Don't get left out. You're the only one who hasn't seen it. That's not factual. That's an emotional appeal. Right? This JoJo person is trying to persuade her friend to go and see the movie because it's adorable. Don't get left out. You're the only one, right? And then again, according to Moviephone, it's already made over $16 million at the box office. So Lulu uses another fact to really consider if she's going to go and see the movie. Okay. So let's look at another one. This topic actually came up. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Nextdoor app, like your next door neighbor, like Nextdoor. But, you know, parks in cities, like public parks, not dog parks, but actual parks with playgrounds and stuff. Should dogs be allowed there? Like that has come up on the Nextdoor app all the time. Like neighbors get on the app and they talk about whether or not they think dogs should be allowed at the parks in the area. Okay, so you're going to place a check mark after the emotional appeal examples. Okay, you've got a mixture of emotional appeal and you've got a mixture of factual, logical appeal. Okay, so I only want you to check the boxes that are emotional appeal, and I'm just showing you how to do it here. Okay, I'm not, these are not necessarily the answers or not. Okay, so think about which ones are emotions and which ones are more facts. Okay. All right, so one question that many towns and cities face is, should dogs be allowed in public parks? Let's look at the pros and cons of both sides of the issue. Okay, so here's one side. Dogs should not be allowed in public parks in order to protect other people and dogs. According to the Boulder County Nature Association, dogs could be bitten or harmed by the wildlife, like squirrels and snakes. They could suffer a snake bite or get in a brawl with an angry raccoon. Also, dogs could pick up ticks or diseases while visiting parks. Dogs could really end up hurt and scared. You might get hurt too trying to save your dog from another dangerous animal. Okay. So what do you notice here? Are these facts? Are these more like emotions? What do you think? And I just realized there should be a box right here for that sentence, but that's okay. All right, check out this paragraph. On the other hand, walking in the park is good exercise for dogs and their owners. Dogs need a place to run in order to stay healthy. It's really sad if dogs can't get to know each other. 36% of city homes do not have enough space for all this. In addition, dogs learn to interact appropriately with people and other dogs by being around them. Okay, I don't know why that is there. That's okay. The park provides a good opportunity and environment for this type of training. It is evident that park administrators have a tough decision on their hands when it comes to deciding whether dogs should be allowed in public parks. So think about this. Where do you see sentences or where do you see statements that are more emotional, right? So leave the ones that are factual, leave them unchecked, don't do anything, and just go ahead and check the emotional ones, okay? Okay. All right. Last part here. Irrelevant. When something you say actually has nothing to do with the topic, it's irrelevant. Okay, let me give you an example, another silly one. Hey, let's go to the movies later, suggested Jim Bob. Yeah, agreed Sim Sam. What do you want to see? Well, thought Jim Bob, I want to see Wolverine 2. I heard it's going to rain next week, said Sim Sam. Dude, said Jimbo, that's like so irrelevant. It has nothing to do with us going to a movie tonight. Okay, now in real life, people sometimes use, as we talked about before, sometimes people use irrelevant information because they just get really excited, really passionate about the topic. They start talking about examples and stories that don't really do anything to make their case any stronger, right? Sometimes advertisers, or sometimes you'll see it in speeches, where people will start to use irrelevant details, irrelevant examples, irrelevant information. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing it. Other times they're doing it on purpose because they're trying to make you feel something, or they're trying to make you think that something is true, but they're taking it out of context. It doesn't make sense. And so here, this is a silly example, but I'm just using it to show you that this is a simple, basic example of when something happens that's irrelevant. Okay? All right. Last one. Okay, it says in the paragraph below, highlight the sentence that best illustrates something irrelevant. Of course, we're not going to highlight. I just want you to check next to the box that seems like it's irrelevant. Okay, so let's read through this together, and then right here on your paper, I want you to explain what makes it irrelevant, but we'll talk about it first. Okay, so this is very similar to what we read before. Fast food is a multi-billion-dollar industry designed to provide quick, inexpensive meals anytime, any day. Some people criticize fast food, claiming it's unhealthy because of all the fat, sugar, and calories that are damaging to the heart and brain. Consider this though. A mom out shopping and doing errands with her 3 crazy kids is going to suffer a lot more stress to her heart and brain when they become tired and hungry and she's still not doing their errands. Fast food is the best way to keep busy, hardworking people well-fed and satisfied for a low, reasonable cost. Okay, you may notice there's a detail in here that doesn't really help the author's point, right? And so you might see this one. This kind of stands out. Like, wait a second, what? We went from talking about the fast food industry to maybe like why people criticize it. And then we have, another opinion down here about how it's the best way to keep busy, hardworking people well fed at a low price. So we have like kind of a fact, and then an opinion, and then like this kind of random situation in the middle about a crazy group of kids. And what? So this is our irrelevant sentence. It's irrelevant. This has nothing to do with furthering the author's point. So this is where the checkbox would go, okay? Because this checkbox goes with this sentence here. So in your own words, go ahead and type out what makes this sentence irrelevant. What makes it so ridiculous here? Okay, so you can hit pause and do that, or we can just move on, okay? All right, a couple of activities here. We have this titled Analysis of Facts and Claims. You're going to read the following passages, and then you get to type in your answers, and these are short, okay? So I want you to read the paragraph here about a kid, a teenager, who needs his or her own car. The speaker is claiming that she needs a car of her own, but she never mentions herself again. Instead, she makes it all about her family's needs. Explain why you think she does this. Okay? And then explain her argument here and why she's arguing it. You, right, you're the reader. You can tell that the speaker spent time thinking about her audience before actually speaking to them. So think about it. If you want a car, are you going to convince your parents that you want a car because of all the reasons that you want it? Or would it be better to convince your parents that you want a car so that you can help them, so that you can serve the family, so you can help out with all kinds of things? Which one do you think your parents would be more likely to listen to? Now you might say, it doesn't matter what I'm saying, I'm not getting a car. Okay, I get it. I've been there. But if you had to make an argument for why you should have a car, is it better to make it all about yourself, or is it better to make it all about the family, right? Which situation are you more likely to buy the car? Okay, so that's your first one. Okay. And then here is the second part, okay? You're going to read these little mini passages. They're short. See, look, they're tiny. okay? You're going to read these passages and then you have a little space to type in your information here, okay? The first passage is called the car. You have the logical appeal, okay, all the logical reasons for why I need a car. And then you have all the emotional reasons for why you need the car. Now, I know I just said based on this example up here, based on this, okay, the speaker claims that she needs a car of her own, and yet she never makes it about herself. It's not about why she wants it. It's not about what she wants. She actually makes it all about her family's needs and how she can help her family. And so when you come down here, think about it. This whole section here is the logical reasons for why she needs a car. This section over here is all of her personal reasons for why she wants a car. So see what happens if you combine the logical and the emotional appeal into one paragraph, okay? You do not need to copy these word for word. That's not the point. In fact, whining and complaining is probably not going to get you very far, okay? All my friends make fun of me because I don't have a car of my own. It's so embarrassing, right? Do you know how dumb I feel? So if you don't think those are very convincing reasons, then feel free to change or modify or omit some of these, but see what you can do. See how persuasive you can make your argument when you actually use both logical and emotional appeal. And this is where you can type it. Finally, here's your last one. Okay, this one's about Wi-Fi. This is more like a commercial, like an advertisement. So the name of the company is Why So Fast Internet Services. So we have all of our factual, logical reasons for why you should switch over to Why So Fast Internet Services. And then we have all the emotional reasons, okay? So see what happens. Play around with this. Have some fun with it. Be creative. See what happens if you can combine some logical and emotional appeal to the argument that we should switch to this internet company, okay? So that's your assignment there. And finally, you can read about it's one topic, but two authors that have different opinions. Okay. So I'm not going to say any more than that. They're two short articles. They're written by different authors, but they're both about the same topic. So these authors have different opinions. They're making different arguments based on the same topic. One author believes this, one author believes that, and the articles are short. So you can either scan the codes with your phone or with your iPad, or you can copy and paste these links and it'll take you to the article, okay? So what you're going to do here is your questions are over here on the left. You only have 4 questions, okay? The questions ask you about what's the difference between the arguments they're making. So basically, the first article, the author is arguing this. The second article, the author is arguing that. Okay, you want to provide some examples, some text evidence, right? Some proof. Second question, which claim best supports the main argument for both authors? So, it's like this author is claiming this, that author is claiming that, and then you could actually just copy the part of the claim over here that supports it. What is the best example of logical appeal used by each author? Okay, you can use this space to put those. And then what's the best example of emotional appeal used by each author? So when we say what's the best example of logical appeal, or what's the best example of emotional appeal, that's based on what you think, okay? That's what you're doing in this column. And then you want to make sure you can support your belief by using text evidence in this column, okay? So you may not have the exact same answer as somebody else in your class or in your group, and that's okay. All right, you put the one that you think is best, and then just make sure you can explain it over here. Make sure you can copy the part of the article that kind of shows what you were thinking. Okay, as long as you do that, you'll be all set, and that is it for now. Have fun.